Happy Monday. Bitcoin is rising once again, and altcoins seem to be performing well. When I have no idea what's happening or why, it's obviously time to look at the charts and see what we can figure out. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays is Chartapalooza. When we dig in with the community together, I take your requests and we look at the market and give an honest appraisal of where we are at. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I am Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I hope that all of you are having a wonderful Monday. Price is up since we last spoke this morning. Always a good sign. And Monday afternoon, as I said before, is my opportunity to go on rants and to talk to you guys directly when there's no guests. And that's why we did it. I know there was some confusion with the time. It was accidentally set for 3, but Chartapalooza on Mondays is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here we are. And I think we messed a lot of people up by doing that. But that's life. So first, let's take a quick look at what's happening in the market. Coin market cap. Bitcoin up 2.46% in 24 hours. Not one of the biggest pumps that we've ever seen. But considering that we have wartime and people freaking out and we're bearish and the Fed and all the things and the places, well, it's nice to see a little bit of green here. And as you scroll down, Ethereum underperforming. BNB overperforming, which has been pretty standard fare, to be quite honest. Solana overperforming, XRP overperforming. So it seems like all altcoins not called meme coins are overperforming. I haven't dug too deeply into the meme coin market because it's just not my thing. So I can't tell you if those are performing generally well. Near Protocol up 16% in 24 hours. Chainlink 3.7. Bitcoin Cash tracking Bitcoin. Yeah, a lot of green and decent moves to the upside. And I would say that we should take that win wherever we can get it. Now we're going to talk about, obviously, Bitcoin first, top down, and then we'll take some requests and dig in. First of all, I want to take a look at these halving cycles. I haven't showed you this chart in a while, but I was looking at it earlier because I was doing a video for The Street, famously founded many years ago by Jim Cramer. I don't think he's involved with it anymore, but I do content with them somewhat regularly now if you guys have been missing that. But here we have the halving number one. Listen, I'm not sure that we can draw much significance from the first halving. Bitcoin was a non-existent asset, basically a supply reduction at that point when there was absolutely no supply being sold and there was a nascent market and it was low volume and all of that. Well, that was a different time. But hey, let's look, right? We had the halving. Let's call it on the weekly chart, roughly $12. $12. Went all the way to a top from the halving. We're not talking about peak to trough. We're talking about halving to market top of about $1,100. $12 to $1,100. 100x. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, the next halving we had price $600, $700, right around there. We went to what? 20,000. Pretty good. Smaller though, 25, 30x. We'll just call it a quarter of how big the pump was before. Halving 3 right here around 9,000, just under $10,000. We know what happened. It went all the way to 69,000. Let's call it a 7 and 7 or 7.5, something like that. X, right? From the COVID lows, that was a 17x, but 7.5x. So obviously each cycle muted. Let's say for round numbers, not accurate, 25% of each of the last cycle. So let's say that we did 25% of a 10x, a 2.5x. We're at 66,000. It puts us in the high 100,000s, right? Maybe we overshoot to 3 and we get to like 180, 190. But even if we see that 25, 30% reduction in this cycle after having 4, we're still talking about 180, 160, somewhere in there. Bitcoin, I think we can go higher because there's no rule that says it has to be low. But listen, this is not statistically significant sampling. Bitcoin is different each time, but we're at like, we passed previous all-time highs into the halving, and somehow people are still freaking out and bearish and think that that's somehow a really bad thing. I don't really get it. But let's take a look at the weekly chart here first, and then we'll get to altcoins. Crypto pump will these altcoins Skyrocket, Chartapalooza. Right? 66,283, not bad. I mean, we started the week / the day around 64.5, so up almost $2,000, topping today about 6666666, devil number. But you can see, really important here, if you are following along at home, these wicks are very important. We have one here, we have them here. Yeah, we have some upside wicks above kind of 69-ish, but these wicks, all these wicks right here, these mean demand, right? That means that price gets pushed down by bears and bulls step in at a certain level and push it all the way back. And it seems like they keep pushing it back to this kind of 65, mid 65s area, right? And this week's candle is a nice, beautiful little MC hammer. Can't touch this. It's a hammer candle, right? This candle opened at 65.5 and closed at 65 flat, something like that. So a 500 spread, very statistically small considering we're at 65,000. If we see this candle in gray or green this week, you expect that price should go up, right? So looking pretty good here, but at the end of the day, I'll repeat once again, we are in a daily range. And of course, that means today's candle stopped right at the EQ. If you're wondering what the EQ is, it is this dashed line. It is the 50% line of the entire range from the range highs to the range lows, usually acts as support and resistance. Look, you drew the range here from this candle to this candle with none of this price action in existence. And then you have candles like this. Look where the resistance is on this candle. Look where the resistance is on this candle. Look roughly where the resistance is on this candle. It's kind of crazy, but that's what happens. Gary Gensler's in the house, wants to know what's going on here. Apparently what happened is multiple SEC lawyers resigned after a federal judge sanctioned the agency for false statements and abuse of power in a crypto case, to which, in the words of Beyonce, I say, boy, bye. Boy, bye. Good. A little bit of accountability. Those dudes aren't getting jobs anymore because everybody hates you now. SEC is a hot, trashy dumpster fire. But listen, my conclusion on Bitcoin at the end of the day, obviously, is that we are ranging. And go back to that halving chart. Look at the second halving. Take a look. Like I said, it was $600. It was still in that 600, 700 area in December. The halving was in July, right? We talk about this every time, but people think it's going to be different this time. Maybe it will, but there's no reason to believe yet that it will. She basically went sideways from July till December and then up only. Right? Halving number 3. We all remember this. We were around $10,000, stayed that way from the halving in May all the way till July, made a small move up, came back in September and took till October for the halving to matter and for it to go up. So what you anticipate right now is not just this range, but maybe, just maybe, if we extend it literally, which I've been saying for months, we just do this and keep going. Maybe not. Be amazing to get out of this range, but maybe we can just go touch some grass or some ass, as I said earlier, and we just range. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Now we're going to go fully redacted, and we're going to take a look at some indicators that many like for determining what's happening with altcoins. We got Bitcoin dominance. Again, I like looking at it because everybody's looking at it. It gives us a very general idea. But for me, even though the chart plays out and does tend to play out in times, like charting something where there's no real trading, like support and resistance is a result of people placing orders, right? Like you have support because there's bids, you have resistance because there's asks. But in this case, we last week here on the weekly chart had the highest Bitcoin dominance since April of 21. That Some would say tells you altcoins are going to perform badly. This tells me altcoins performed badly. Sort of a hindsight indicator, because everybody who looked at their portfolio knew Bitcoin dominance was high by seeing that their altcoins were down 30 or 40%, right? So listen, maybe Bitcoin dominance top there. If we believe in resistance, I would love to see it come down. It means we would do well. If you believe in adding RSI, you have bearish divergence with overbought RSI there on the weekly chart. Total 3, if you're wondering what this is, so am I. No, I'm just kidding. Total 3 is the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, as they say in English, England, Ethereum, mate. Same as Bitcoin dominance in ways of this kind of nonsensical nature of it. But, you know, you can see down here, like in the depths of the bear market, just less than a year ago, total market cap of altcoins outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum was like 300 million. That went as high as 790 or so and still at 673. So altcoins have performed pretty well in that regard, but Bitcoin's up more than that, obviously, off of the lows. So that's what Bitcoin dominance, when you look, you know that if we were hitting highs on Bitcoin dominance of the years, generally you were better off in Bitcoin than altcoin over that time. So now I do want to show you one more thing, actually, on Bitcoin, because I just have to keep doing it. I don't know why I keep freezing again today. Every time I open a chart, we get frozen. I hope you guys can still hear me because my face looks terrible. Can you guys still hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me, because I have no idea if you can hear me. I'm super frozen. Great. My face is frozen. Oh, well, I moved a little. So what I'm going to show you here, we're going to close a bunch of charts really quick and see if that helps, because, you know, what I'm showing you here is the line chart. And as you guys know, when you put the line chart on, it takes away the wicks, takes away some of the noise for looking at divergences. And I was screaming about this bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart. I believe it's there on the 6-hour chart. Probably that's about it. 4-hour, 6-hour, and below, that we would have a local bottom. You had bullish divergence with oversold RSI at the range lows. And that's when people get bearish. And that's why we get bounces. And that's why people are euphoric at the top. It's the same thing. I know, guys, I'm super frozen. Nothing I can do about it. You're going to have to just look at the charts instead of looking at my face. I don't know what's up. I'm going to still close a bunch more things. Maybe if I close all the things, we can do it, but seemingly not. Anyways, so just so you know, I talk about this all the time. Nothing's guaranteed, but when you look at oversold, RSI, bullish divergence, generally you get a bottom. Happens over and over and over and over again. Now, of course, I got to open up Trading Alpha and take a, it seems it was just that line chart that froze us up. Let's clear that up, right? I'm going to go ahead and say cancel. All right. Let's take a look at Trading Alpha. You guys know that this is my go-to indicator. If you happen to like it, there's a link in the description. You can get 25% off, blah, blah, blah. We will have Wick back on Wednesday to talk about this, but let's take a look here at the Bitcoin chart on Trading Alpha. First of all, as he will point out every single time, wow, this is a funny comment. Frozen part 3, Scott in the snowy landscape of charts. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. But if you look at the weekly charts on almost anything, still nice dots, still above the track line, certainly on Bitcoin, still looking healthy. Still looking healthy. Important. Let's drop down to the daily here. We did, as I showed last week, I wrote about it in my newsletter. I guess I wasn't streaming quite as much, but I was saying it. We had this squeeze shade right here, this big orange thing, and all these T's mean top, 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 top. And of course, you got a short signal here at 68, and you could have ridden that down to below 60,000. So now I want to see action back above this track line right here and the start of green dots again for us to start to gain confidence that this is a real move. Like I said, we got it to pop right back up to the EQ of the range, but I don't think that means we're out of the woods. I mean, we're just traveling sideways. All right. So listen, we got, we're 17 minutes into it. My gut here looking at all of this Bitcoin looks fine, maybe boring. And if it's boring and people start to gain confidence, we should take a look at some altcoins. So go ahead and throw your requests up in the chat. I'll look at them on Trading Alpha, but we'll also draw a couple silly lines and figure it out. But yeah, go ahead, throw them up in the chat. I'll take as many as I can till we get to about 4 o'clock. CODY, I definitely got that one. Let's take a look. All right, we got CODY here. Wow, nice pump today. Went all the way up to 15 cents and kind of got rejected back. I'm going to tell you, like, we'll take a look. Okay, so a lot of altcoins actually lost those dots on the weekly. So this was giving you a signal that altcoins were about to get wrecked when this was at 18 cents and went down as low as 8 cents. So that was a 60-something% move to the downside, top to bottom, just from the trigger. And if you were up here, so when it lost the dots, yeah, 18 cents down to 8. So we're looking at trying to break the track line right here. I would be waiting for green dots, gray dots. My instinct is that, like, if you're a bottom feeder and you want to catch knives, altcoins fine right now. But if you're the kind of guy who wants safer confirmations, you might struggle finding those. Daily has lost the blue dots, which is good. They're red for most people, but still struggling even on the daily and the weekly, same level of resistance, which is kind of that track line. I would say our clear resistance right now on this, if you're playing the game, is right here. Right? You want to get above, if you weren't looking at this indicator, about 13.7, something like that, for a nice confirmation, and then you would kind of ride that up. And you got resistance up in this 17-18 area where it went, and inevitably you're trying to get to 28 cents. But there's no reason to believe that's going to happen as of yet. Let's see what else we got over here. ARB, Arbitrum. Oh, let's go to crypto. It's going to give us a bunch of weird stuff. Arbitrum. Well, that bounced right nicely off support. So this is something obviously I had drawn before, about 0.98, almost a buck. It pierced it big time, but closed above. That's what you want to see. You could have also drawn lines off of these right down here. And then you have a bullish SFP, which means that wick went below the support and closed above. Nice, pretty, beautiful liquidity grab there. Yeah. But still, like, I mean, this does not, none of these are looking like recovered yet. Bitcoin, frankly, looks better than most of these. And this kind of looks, like bearish consolidation. So you want to be careful that you don't get another breakdown. I can't see a reason yet to be jumping into these. Maybe if you're a very low time frame trader, like the 4 hours looking good. You flip the track line, you've got the dots again, and you had, look at that, gave you squeeze shading, and it gave you an entry at 1.15. High is about 1.23. And if you, small move. Listen, I'm not seeing it yet with these altcoins. I can't make the market be different than the indicators or my rational thought says. But, I would say you got a clear level about $1.25, something like this, coming off these highs through here. I would want to be above that before I would do anything crazy. EGLD. Ye old favorite. Okay, same thing. They all look the same. It's sad for this market that they all look the same. I mean, look at ARB. You can kind of take a similar sort of line here, and you pierced it, maybe closed a little bit below. But this general area looked like $38 was kind of a very reasonable place for a bounce. I'm going to guarantee that these were all oversold, you see. All of them oversold on the daily. Bitcoin has not gotten close to oversold on the daily, which gives me a little pause. But oversold RSI on the daily on almost every single altcoin. Again, listen, I really like these coins, but we're trying to give a view. That's a level. So if you can get above like 46.17, I would say we start to talk about a move up into the mid 50s and then get excited later. I think right now, I'm not saying they are bearish consolidation. Right now, we have relief bounces and no confirmation that it's more than that, but they could become more than that, right? That's what we're looking at. Vet VeChain, I obviously recently had a conversation with this. These are moot. See, some lines just don't work. I don't make the rules. I had a great conversation not long ago with Sonny from VeChain, and then I saw him in Paris. I really like that guy. I really want them to win. This jumps out at me, right? I wouldn't call it necessarily a bull flag, even though you do have the flag and then this long parallel descending channel. But a bull flag should have resolved by now, right? This is more of just a descending channel. Not bearish, it's still bullish, but like I don't think you can extrapolate a target from this flagpole because this is just way too long. But you're basically consolidating slightly down. Doesn't look bad. Trading Alpha doesn't love it. But, you know, I think still well above the track line on the weekly. Let's see if it gains the dots again. It's even clearer there on the weekly. Looks better. But like I said, I mean, there's nothing bad about these, but this just looks like boom, big relief bounce. I think we just need to see a little more from all of these to get excited. I would love to tell you something other than that, but I can't. I can't tell you something other than that because the chart is the chart, and I try to be super honest right now. Kaz for old time sets, says John English Tech. Look at that, came right up. This really doesn't even trade on it's got perps on Binance. Look at it on Mexi, whatever. Oh, that's a big candle today. Okay, so listen, if I didn't have this indicator on, I would say massive bullish engulfing candle. Hopefully we'll have bigger volume by the end of the day. The red dots are, blue dots, excuse me, are stopping. That's good. So you have an end to those, but you have this resistance kind of screaming down. This looks better than most because today's candle is huge. And you had bullish engulfing at the bottom here. That, I guess it wasn't the bottom, but you got all these wicks down, bullish engulfing candle here, and continuation to the upside. That, if I didn't have this indicator on, I would say that looks more bottomed than some others. Although you want to see bigger volume on that move to the upside. I'm guaranteeing the 4 hours giving you, look, Trading Alpha gave you a trigger on this one, and it's breaking the track line, and there was the squeeze shading. I don't know what, like I dug into it pretty deep. I still don't know the secret sauce that Wick put into these indicators, but I used to be so skeptical of indicators. But man, I go back and I look, and just over and over and over and over and over again. Over and over again, it is there to see in plain sight. So Kaz, I would say, looking stronger than many. And I think now is a good time in general. You want to look for things that have relatively more strength on the bounce than others, right? Oh, I'm going to do this one for fun. XRP. Let's take a look. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves XRP. We'll take it on Bitstamp. XRP looking okay. Not that bad. A lot of these are attacking that track line. Is that green? Okay, so this track line actually turned green here. That's pretty bullish if you take a look at that. So that happened here. We still don't have the green dots coming back here on the daily. And this gave you a little arrow trigger right at, I mean, this thing's amazing. You know, these kind of, I just want to see these not be bear flags, but this actually looks better than a lot of the other ones. It's bounced higher relative. Like I would interested to pull some fibs here. Like if we call this the top of this move and this the bottom, something like this, this is now past the golden pocket. So listen, you expect a 50% bounce on a move like that. Once you start getting above that 50%, you're really not a bear flag or a bearish consolidation anymore. So this is pushing through that 61.8 to 65% called the golden retracement. I'm going to go out and say that XRP looks pretty good there. Guaranteeing all these short time frames. Look, Trading Alpha. Get the indicators. I'm telling you. Look, squeeze, shading, arrow right here at 50 cents or up 10%. Gave you green dots all the way, continuing up. It's going to trigger people. That looks good, better than most. And frankly, like if you're looking at the 4 hour, this whole area is where you want to get above. It's there for now, but we want to see 4 hour candles closing above like 54.8, something like that, because then you're above all of this resistance. This whole area is resistance, right? That is looking pretty good. I'm just, guys, I'm not like, I just look I look over to see what's there, and I choose whatever is like the first thing I see. So I just want you guys to know I'm not choosing favorites or anything here. IO's 4 hour, squeeze shading, arrow at 63 cents. It's gone as high as 80 cents. Don't know how many more times you gotta look at these things, but Daily looking juicy. I'm surprised that this has not switched back, but it gave you the B for the bottom signal, and we're above the track line. Still no gray dots, but this flip of the track line seems like obvious. This one looks legit. This does not look at all like bearish consolidation. It looks once again like it's leading the market, doing exceptionally well, right? That looks good, in my opinion. In my very humble, objective, just looking at charts opinion. I own this coin, so it'd be great if it continues up, looking strong. But yeah, okay, last one I got here is Tau. Let's take a look at that. Tau. There's not enough history on Binance. Is there more on another bit tensor? Yeah, okay, this is MEXC. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This kind of looks, it does have a bottom signal. I don't know. Let's see the weekly. I like that. Right at support. I mean, they look bottomy. We just don't have confirmation. That's where I'm at with almost all these charts. They look bottomy, but we don't have confirmation. But I would say that it's pretty nice that it sat right on that line. Has not gone to blue dots. The daily has a bottom signal right at effectively the bottom. Of course, it gave you one here, but that also gave you a move to almost 2x move. So yeah, I mean, that's like an 80% move to the upside. Well, you can't be mad about that. And so looking pretty good. No volume though. This low volume on a lot of these is a bit concerning. You're floating up on low volume. Still not that convincing. I have time. I hate to do it. I have time for one more. TIA, I will forever be mad about. I think I told you guys, but like when TIA launched, let me go back. It was like literally launched and it was like here. And I was like, oh, it'll go to the lows. I'll bid like 225. And it went from like 227 straight to $7. And I never filled. Great. Amazing. All right, but TIA on the daily looks like it's flipping resistance to support. That's nice. You did get one green dot. That's nice. Weekly, not looking so great. TIA, I would think, actually would have been looking stronger relative to a lot of the others because it had been leading, and it's got really good volume here at the bottom. So that looks bottomy, but this pattern is kind of like a rounding top. I'm just not as thrilled about that. If you flip this upside down, you'd be like cup and handle to the upside, but it's down. So that looks like a cup and handle to the downside. So that's not exciting me as much as others. Please don't get angry with me, guys. I know it's fast. We only do 30 minutes on Mondays, but it's fun. I have children, got to go hang out with them. I hope that you guys got something out of this. I highly recommend you listen to my podcast with Ryan Condren that I did yesterday, where we had a very deep and I would say somewhat like triggering conversation about the level of decentralization of Bitcoin. Spoiler, not as decentralized as you think. And a lot of threats from governments and ETFs and things like that. Really, man, it was an amazing conversation. I think you should listen to it. That's my pitch. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to run it back. See you guys then. Check out Trading Alpha if you hadn't. It's in the description. I just showed it to you again. Bye.